2010 Chevy Malibu LTZ. It's got the 3.6 liter V6 in it. Creates about 250 horsepower. I'll show you a little bit more of the outside when I'm obviously outside of the car. But this car needs a little work, and we're gonna start today. Alright, I'm back home now, and like I said before, this is my 2010 Chevy Malibu LTZ 3.6 V6. Pop the hood for you really quick. For a 2010, it's got 187,000 miles on it. I got it for a really good deal that I just couldn't pass up. For 180,000, the engine is like immaculate. It's super clean, runs fantastic. Only thing is a little, like, you know, rust on these. Ain't too bad, but overall the car is really good. Now, what I said before, one thing that needs to be fixed on it are these tires. These tires are 18-inch rims, but look at this. It's terrible. This was definitely not done by me. I am a person that takes very, very good care of their car. And whoever owned this car before me obviously didn't know how to drive the best. And so now on all four tires on the car, there's all kinds of curb rash on it. So that's what I'm going to be doing today, is fixing up that. So like I said, I went to Home Depot, bought some stuff. I bought some body filler here and some Rust-Oleum flexi dip stuff to hopefully fix it up. I'm not a big fan of the chrome kind of look on them. You know, I'm more the dark colored kind of person. I like how my car is the gray and whatnot. So we're gonna be turning the wheels black here, and I think black wheels on that car is pretty good. Alright, so I'm gonna take this jack here. It's time to get the wheels off the car. Okay, so that didn't work. Lesson learned, always have the right tools to do the job beforehand, before you start doing it and you start running around looking like an idiot trying to find the tools to do it. So the second plan B, I guess you could say, to do this is that we're just gonna keep the wheels on the tire to do this. I'm not really the biggest fan of keeping the tires on here to do this, just because I don't want to take the chance of messing up any of the brakes, so like the calipers or the brake pads, although I'm not sure how well you'll be able to see it in there. But these pads are not pads, the caliper is in pretty bad shape. There's some a lot of scuffs and marks into them, so those will definitely be getting replaced on this too. Another thing that has to be done to my car. So I guess we'll just go on to plan B and keeping it on the car. Okay, so the first step you want to do here is I've got some 60 grit sandpaper here. This is supposed to go onto like a circle disc sander, but I'm going to be doing this by hand. It's a lot easier to go by hands. Take some 60 grit, and what you want to do is you want to get into this and just scuff this up. You want to get down into the into the scuffs as much as possible. And it feels like, as I run my finger over this, it's not like gouged or like really coarse. I have a feeling that people also try to put some kind of like clear like body filler or something into these to make them not as bad as they would have turned out if they would just kept it gouged open. But we're gonna fix that up and take this off. So I'm gonna go ahead, and you also kind of want to get into a little bit of the original paint on the wheels, just so you can feather it out once you start going down here a little bit, so it's smooth when you have a finished product. So I'll do this and I will be right back. Alright, so as you can see, maybe compared to the last time, I did sand it down. One thing you want to make sure of being careful is you don't want to try to get the tire. I kind of got the tire a little bit while I was going around sanding it. I mean, you can see some of the particles of what I sanded off on the tire still. So with that, what you want to do is take an air hose and just get this dust off here. It's going to be pretty loud here for a second, so. That should be pretty good. Make sure you got all that sand and, not sand, what am I talking about? All this dust from this out of there. You don't want any of that in there for the next step. Okay, so next what you're going to want to do is I got this Bondo body filler here, and in this it has like this little plastic cap on top. It comes with this cream hardener, right? So what this does is this activates the Bondo in here, and you have like a limited amount of time. You got to mix it up and apply it, and within like, I don't know, 5-10 minutes it'll harden. And then for it to be completely hardened, you got to give it like a half hour or something like that. So this stuff you got to be really quick with, and this is what we're going to be applying for the on the tires, or rims I should say, really. So what you want to do is you want to take just a small amount. It is pretty thick. It should be. It's hard when you're only doing this with one hand. Maybe. You'll get it there eventually. So take just a little bit of this filler here. I got this metal scraper. It probably would be better to use plastic, but I'm just using what I have on me at the moment. Set that aside. So the tricky part about this is getting the correct ratio of hardener to the Bondo. I think this is really stuck on there. Maybe? Got that off. So a good idea, a good amount would, for just a little bit like this, would probably be, a good decent sized dot right in the middle. But let's take it over to the car really quick. I like my little stool there. Let's take it over to the car quick and we'll get it going over there. Alright, here we go. So I got the Bondo here next to the wheel. So what we'll be doing is we'll be putting just a little bit around the edges of the tire, or yeah, just on the edge, just to fill in all these small little bumps and cracks and whatnot that are in there. I really shouldn't say cracks because there's not cracks, but just all this little stuff in here. Get that fill in just so we can get rid of all of that. So here we go, taking just a little bit. Like I said, you know, a good sizable like dot or so. I'd say probably nothing more than that. So then you want to start kind of folding that in, mixing it up. And like I said, you have like a limited amount of time after you get this all said and done, mixed up. And you'll see kind of like a changing the color of this stuff once it gets all mixed up. Alright, so kind of like that. You see, kind of has a different tint to it now because the hardener's red. So then we can go ahead, take just a little bit here, not much, just a little bit, and then go ahead and kind of just start applying, filling in all this stuff. And I think it's not really that big a deal if you get it on the tire, just because it will be easy to come off. Like once you start sanding, you know, it'll start breaking off in chunks and whatnot, and so you should be pretty good. I've worked with this stuff before, and I've gotten it into a couple places I didn't want it to be, and it worked out, you know, pretty well. It just immediately came off where I didn't need it to be. So let's go around the tire really quick and do this. Alright, so I got it done. That first batch I created had a little too much hardener in it, so it started hardening up on me. I started getting up here, and I got down here, and then by the time I started getting down here, it started to harden really quickly. And so I got down to like here, and if you can see that, it started getting like all like this. I don't know how to explain that, but it just got like this, so it was really hard to apply. So I went ahead and I made some more. I added less hardener for sure this time, and this definitely went better. So now I'm just letting waiting for this to dry, so then we can go ahead and hit it with some more sandpaper. Okay, so everything up to this point went totally fine. I started spray painting the base coat. Yep, that's what it is, the base coat. You know, I had everything sanded down. I had the Bondo sanded down to fit the wheel pretty well. You know, I recorded a whole bunch of stuff with base coat, and then adding the flexi dip on top of that. Well, what ended up happening was the flexi dip started cracking and wasn't adhering right to the wheel. So I was like, okay, what's going on? You know, so I sanded it down, tried going again at it, and it still didn't work. And you know, after talking to my dad about it and looking at the flexi dip, a base coat really isn't required. So lesson learned. You know, I almost messed up on my wheels with this. You know, read what is required for the cans to go on, and how they should be applied. So now I sanded them down again for the third time, and I will now show you what really I should have done after the point that you just watched, instead of putting on a base coat, and how it'll all turn out after it's all said and done. Okay, so here's the wheel again. I got the tape all down, got the caliper masked off with the bags and stuff like that. Okay, so completely sanded down now for like the third time, like I said earlier. You know, I sanded it with 80 grit with a sander, and I did the face, and then I hand sanded 80 on all the like little insides and stuff like that. And then I did 200 or 220 around the entire wheel, and then I took the Scotch-Brite and then went over it again, and then I wiped it down with I can't even think of the name of it now. Isopropyl alcohol, that's what it is. It's like 97%, and it's like supposed to evaporate somewhat quicker. And really all it is just to get all the crap off, like all the dust and debris off of the wheel, so you're not applying
the plasti dip or whatever you're using. Like I'm using the flexi dip, so you're not applying it to a dusty surface, so it's clear, clean, and you're applying right to the surface of the wheel. Alright, so I got the flexi dip, and I'm going to spray just a base coat on the wheel quick. Okay, here's the base coat. Well, you want to do this light. So as you can see, it's like you can still, maybe if it focuses right, there we go. So you want it to be where you can still see a little bit of the wheel. You don't want to go too light, like Fonzie from Dip Your Cars calls this, kind of like a dusting coat. At least I'm pretty sure that's where I'm getting it from. But you always do a light coat like this as the the base coat to get everything so then when you put on, like after this gets done drying, you then go ahead and put on more heavier coats so it gets thicker, but what those coats do is they attach itself to this more, just so it has, just so it'll peel up a little bit better. And obviously that's what more and wetter coats is what it's called. That's what those are for, so you can go ahead and peel it up if you ever want to go back to how they originally were. But obviously because I sanded them, they wouldn't look good if I peeled it off, so these are always going to stay black. But you, no matter what, always want to make sure you have more than enough layers on here to be able to peel it up in the future. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to let this dry, and then once this gets done drying, I'm going to go ahead, add more coats to it. I'm going to do about 4 coats on top of this to get it completely black, and I will be back when that is done. Okay, these are finally done. This is just so much better, so much compared to what it was before when it was cracking. Like, I cannot be any more happy about how this turned out. This looks just fantastic. I still have to do the clear coat, which I'm going to do right now. This is also 5 coats. I did the 4th coat, and there was a couple spots like up there, and then kind of like in here, like more on the inside of the tire, or the rim I should say, that was still kind of a little patchy. So I was like, I'll just get it and do a 5th coat. It'll be fine. I just can't be any more happy about this. So what I'm gonna do now is a clear coat, and the clear coat works the exact same way. You gotta do kind of like a light coat around, and then do a couple of heavier coats. And that one's probably only gonna be like 3 or 4 coats that I'm gonna need on this to finish it up. So once that gets done drying, I will pull my car out of my garage here and get you guys some pretty cool B-roll of how this looks.